will never, never be another like you. But I search until I find a lover like you.
I still got plans that I never spoke. A lot of rhymes that I never wrote. A lot of dreams that I never lived. But if I think about it, then I mean I really did. Just not yet. I used to wish that I was here now. Smooth sailing on my own boat. I'm about to jump up on another plane.
Gotta get in there.
Right before I take another tote. It's all love. If you hear up into it, it's your business. If you
Hey, Joe, this is an amazing day. How you doing today, my brother?
Good. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com, New Haven Independent, or go to your Facebook page and look us up. This thing is staring me right in the face.
I love it, Joe. Well,
It goes
I've
a
got
little
to
sideways with it. Like
You're
the-
really good. At least you know how to position these things. Joe, I really have appreciated learning this art of radio from you guys since I was the novice. Harry over there and you've taken this is awesome, and we're on Instagram as well live.
Oh, yay. Lou's got us on Instagram Live.
Yeah, so Joe, great to see you today, brother.
Yes. How you doing? How was your weekend?
I'm doing great. I recouped a little bit. It was very nice. I got to go up to a comedy show up at Mohegan Sun this weekend.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I got to hang out with our good friend Lou Pino.
Ah.
Yeah, he's a local up in that area, so we got to see Lou Pino, a comedy show. I got to see Mike Filate.
Oh, good.
Mikey.
He's up in that area too.
He's up
right?
in that area, and
Yeah.
and he got to tell me about his adventures in legal cannabis. Since now it's just been about 6 months, he's been working at a Rhode Island legal grow facility as a
Oh.
grower.
Is it one of the corporate ones?
The corporate, yeah, it's a corporate. He's working for the big
corporate.
dogs.
Well, hey, you know what?
You
That's
know,
what
he
that's what we've got to start at. Right?
Yep, and that's where he.
At least he
he,
can get a job up there.
yes,
at corporate.
yes.
Unlike here in Connecticut.
Right. It's rough.
Anyway.
But he did get a job up there, and this is a friend of ours, friends of the community, a member of the community that is working in the adult use recreational realm. So
You
that's
know what
always
that text was.
she's fighting the fight, brother. She's fighting the fight.
Yes.
We love her to death, but Kira won't be with us today. She's out there battling the fight, and she'll
Equity.
be up at the LOA today, is what I just was told.
LOB, yep.
Yep. LOB, I apologize. ABCD.
All right. So let's get into it, Lou.
Let's go, Joe.
Let's get into it. All
What
right.
does our day look like, Joe?
Our day looks like this. There are 10 we are 10 votes away
It's big.
from legalization in Connecticut.
Adult
so
use,
this is a
yeah.
good news, bad news situation, okay?
I have
So
to
the
say,
bad news is 10
here
votes
it
away.
goes. 10 votes.
But the good news is on Thursday, Governor Ned Lamont signed the hemp bill
Mm-hmm.
into action.
Yes, sir.
So now Connecticut is officially legalized hemp,
100%.
and the farmers can start applying
Yes, sir.
for pilot programs and get seeds in the ground. So
And
that's the good news.
Which is awesome. We're going to talk to somebody today about that.
who actually has a hemp farm and is going to be taking advantage of that.
And we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to, what else did you have on that list there, Joe?
Besides the hemp, I want to go over the 10.
That's what I was getting
Yeah.
to. I saw this great little snippet Connecticut Normal put together.
Yes.
That was very informative.
Yeah, and then this is what I want to bring up. Okay,
Yes.
so Connecticut Normal put together, we have a concise list, and we went over it last week, and I'll go over a few of the key people this week. But of the 10 people, at least 10, there's more than 10, who are on the fence or against legalization. Okay, and they range from East Hartford. Joe Varenga from West Hartford. They are Joe Gresco from Stratford.
Yep.
These are in our listening area here. Sean Scanlon from Guilford. Then there are the 3 reps from Waterbury.
Yeah. And I
Uh,
have a rep out of Meriden.
Right.
So, we'll get there, and as of my own personal, shout out to the cause. I am calling my representative in Meriden. So if you jump on the Connecticut Normal social networking sites, you'll be able to see that list, phone number, contact information, email address, and that's through the Connecticut Normal pages. I had it shared on my Instagram page. So if you're not following me, I am your _ Uncle Lou. And you can follow Joe at GoGo Joe's Coffee
Yep.
on Instagram. So just remember that. Sometimes we don't say where you can follow us, but those are those avenues that you can follow us, keep in touch, get to know, and have that personal reach out. We love you guys, and we're here for you. So if your
all right.
rep is on that list.
Yeah, I want to go over what they said in this
Yes,
article, okay? So it says here the marijuana debate here differs from the fight over tolls. He said there's 2 things that Len Lamont wants to get in this year.
Mm-hmm.
Tolls and legalization. But tolls are his priority. Legalization is not.
Right.
He's letting the legislature take care of that. That's basically what he says. I'm going to let the legislature take care of getting the votes on that.
Right.
But if they pass it, he will
Signing it.
sign it. So he's not really getting down and dirty in the fight, pressuring legislators like he is with the tolls.
The tolls is a
he's
big
in the
thing.
back room,
Yeah.
twisting arms for the toll, but he's not doing it for legalization. That's basically what the article says.
And realistically, he can't.
Right.
Those are 2 big topics that affect the everyday person.
Right.
So if tolls wasn't an issue this year, I think he'd push it. But tolls are an issue, so.
It says right here there are 16. These are the 16 I listed off last week, but
Yep.
they need 10 out of those 16
Yep.
to get the vote through. And they say they're hoping they could have gotten a couple Republicans, but so far the Republicans haven't been very engaging with them.
Right.
But I think it's the other way around. I think they haven't been very engaging with the Republicans because personally,
Right.
we have spoken to the
Yes, you have.
Republicans,
Yes, you
and they
have.
are not totally against
Nope.
legalization. They're just against commercialization right now.
Right.
So there are a lot of Republicans who would be willing to compromise with the Vermont-style bill.
Right.
A lot. That would include homegrown.
Yes, it would. Yes.
You know,
They didn't argue. You're right. When you said you guys sat there,
I had a long meeting with the usual
the usual suspects.
yeah,
our
the,
representative,
of
our pushback rep-
Republicans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was very nice, engaging
Yeah.
and everything. And he just said, look, it's the commercialization. We think they're rushing into it. We don't want to see the medical program get decimated.
Right.
That's his biggest thing. And he doesn't want to see it end up like big tobacco or big pharma. And he says, look, eventually we know it's going to get commercialized. But, at least we could take some time with this style
Yeah, we
bill
can have a
and
cottage
put the
style.
regulations in like they did in Vermont.
Yeah,
They took 2
cottage
years, and
style.
now they're putting it in.
Yep, and they called that a cottage style
Yes.
industry.
So, I mean, they are willing to talk to them. But
and I think that you're right, that it is just the open communication. If we can work as a team and get this going, we can facilitate that. And I know in my district, it's a Republican. So I will be reaching across the aisle to have the conversation with them. I'm still I'm one of their constituents still, but I'm going to put the hand out and offer very happy and healthy. Maybe we'll do lunch or something.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
going to
go up there,
cafeteria.
Up there Wednesday.
Yep.
There is a press conference up there on Wednesday for legalization. It is being put on by the coalition.
The coalition, sir, it's a lobby
is putting
day.
it on. It's a lobby day. So, yeah, when I'm up there on Wednesday morning, I am going to talk to him and see what's going on.
And that's an invitation for everybody as well. Lobby day is Wednesday.
Lobby day is Wednesday morning. Get up there about 9, and we'll have the press conference there, and you could talk to your representatives and find them. I personally have been calling my representative, who is one of the guys on the fence, and definitely he hasn't returned my call. So,
I got a secretary. I have to. At least
I've
I got
done
a secretary.
4 messages for this guy, and he hasn't returned my call. So
I got the secretary, who was a very nice gentleman.
But
Can't
here's what
complain about it.
here's what the main concerns are I'm finding with these reps. The public safety issues basically come down to they're worried about increase in teen use, they're worried about an increase in car accidents, and they're worried about some of the money. Some of them have problem with the expungement, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And they're also worried about not, and this is dumb, not having that breathalyzer way to tell if you're impaired on marijuana.
And this goes back to our buddy Leo Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Flintstones
and Jetsons.
and Jetsons.
Yeah, well, we obviously, after going up to the legislature for quite a couple of years now, we are dealing with the Flintstones. Sometimes I have to go up to them and say, yabba dabba do.
Yes, sir.
Before they understand
and
me.
one of the great things is, though, we're able to segment between the hemp, CBD, and participating on that national level now because the bill was signed last week.
Yeah.
You know, so CBD, all the
CBD, I don't even like to talk about because it's in such a gray area right now.
Mhm.
And at the end of the month, and really the thing that comes down to CBD is what Connecticut and most of the other states are waiting for is for the feds to figure out their regulations on it, because this is not like legalized cannabis where cannabis is still federally illegal, so they
Right.
leave it up to the states to do the regulations on it. This is CBD, which has been legalized through
Yes,
the
sir.
Farm Bill in 2018, but not really legalized, just put under the control of the FDA.
right.
And so that doesn't mean it's legal. That means they have put it under the control of the FDA for the FDA to determine what uses it can have
Correct.
in the general public. As of now, the FDA has only said it's legal for topical use.
Right.
And
They've
they
said a
s-
couple other things.
They haven't said it's not legal yet
Correct.
for edible use, but they are saying that they're, if it's been declared a medicine for Epidiolex, why would you put medicine into food? But then again, we've come up with plenty of examples how
Correct.
it's all about dosage. You're not going to
Correct.
put an Epidiolex level dose in an edible. Some people are really rude. They don't realize, like, I'm on the air and they decide to call me in the middle of the show. Those people won't get a call back. And anybody who's texting me in the middle of the show who has nothing to do with this, those people will understand. Everybody knows
love
I'm
you,
on
brother.
this show from 1 to 2 p.m. Do you know when they decide to call? Do you think I got any calls this morning? No, but when do I get all a bunch of calls and worthless texts? During the show, anyway. So I let that out.
I love you, Joe.
Yeah, well, I could like a 1 hour undisturbed.
I love
Please,
it. All right,
people, 1
so
hour.
We're on
Okay.
CBD. So what I was getting
Uh,
to is because we have a great guest this today, who has a CBD farm, and I work with a lot of CBD people. You work with directly with a lot of CBD. With that acceptance, I believe it'll push that adult use as well. Some districts like in Fairfield County where they're still prosecuting head shops that have CBD in them.
Yeah,
it's
some
rough.
people, they're getting in trouble because of that flower.
Right. Oh,
You know?
oh, that is such a gray area that it's hard.
That CBD flower, because
CBD
they can't tell
flower.
the difference. So they're worried that they're sneaking
They'd
in
rather
some THC stuff.
And that's one of those sad stories that happened up in Vermont recently. Did you happen to see that?
No, what happened?
A very large producer of CBD in Vermont got caught with half their crop being THC.
It got hot.
They were bending. They were really doing the wrong thing, and they became an example on what not to do.
Yeah.
And then the good thing is, because of the checks and balances that were in place for the hemp industry, they caught them almost immediately.
Okay.
So it wasn't a bad thing in the community.
No, because, look, when you're in a state that's contemplating
Vermont,
legalization,
correct.
that's trying to do the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing that you can do is do something illegal on a large scale that sets a bad example.
Correct.
Because this just sets a red flag up for whoever these legislators are who are going to vote on this thing and say, uh-oh, and that's what you got to watch. So I'm just recommending that to anybody who's in the cannabis industry right now, whether legal or illegal. Keep your noses clean while this process is going in. We do not need bad publicity like this,
Oh man.
for the Connecticut cannabis industry,
Yeah.
or in any other state.
And that's that
I mean,
was,
that happens
was in
by
Vermont.
accident.
It was in Vermont.
You let it some of the
And
CBD
it'll
weed,
go
you
hot.
let it go, it'll go hot.
Yeah, and
Could
that's
have been
the
an
term they
accident.
call
It
it.
could have not. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and that's the term they call it. Going hot is when it breaks the THC
Right, because you
barrier.
let it grow for too long.
Right.
There's a certain period with this CBD weed you have to cut it down.
Right.
And if you let it go too long, it will get more THC. in
Correct.
there.
And
Yeah.
that's where the planning and having a good farm manager and doing those items checks and balances it. I just had a commenter. Somebody commented on the Instagram feed. I was put in jail for CBD flower in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It was ultimately dismissed, and this comes from a veteran, somebody from Neva.
Wow. You see, not every
You
state
know?
is,
Neva's
and they're
very-
pulling it
yeah.
off the shelves in some states.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and
Because
Connecticut.
the testing is rough.
Yeah.
You know, some people aren't doing reputable testing, and some people are.
Well, I see constant reports on the internet of different news people that have tested various CBD products
Mhm.
to see if they actually contain what they say they
Yeah.
do, and a lot of them don't.
Yeah, that
And
third
that's
market.
why you got to know, don't buy this mass-produced stuff that you see
Yeah.
all the time.
I agree with you.
You'd be better off buying something local, get a test result.
Yes.
Make sure you have the test result, in front of your face.
Any reputable CBD company will make sure that the test results are easily accessible and right in front of
Right.
yourself. So if it's a QR link from a
Yeah,
a-
I mean, I
yeah.
kind of just recommend don't go to the gas station to
there
buy
you
it.
go. I
Don't
love it.
necessarily buy it at the 7-Eleven,
Yep.
Go to a place that has, specifically knowledgeable about CBD.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a health food store. Some head shops like Bohemian High are very good with it,
Yep.
but other ones aren't.
Yes. Yes.
So you got to know who's what and selling the good CBD in the area.
Correct.
So, don't just go on the internet and find the cheapest stuff you can buy. And a lot of the labeling is very misleading.
Right.
It'll say 500 milligrams hemp oil, but then when you read it, it's only 200 milligrams of actual CBD.
Correct.
But big on front, it says 500 milligrams. That just means they're giving you half a gram in that
Yeah,
vape cartridge.
You're talking about the vape cartridges, exactly.
Yes.
You can go into the gas station and you'll see a vape cartridge for $50 that says 500 milligrams hemp oil.
Right.
Realistically, inside of that 500 milligram hemp oil mixture would be maybe 100 milligrams of THC distributed over 200 puffs. You're looking at
Well,
like
it's CBD, not THC.
CBD. Yes, I apologize if I
Yeah.
misspoke. But yeah, CBD. Now you're only getting like 2 milligrams of
Yeah, it's
CBD every,
nothing.
so it doesn't produce that
No, you got to
that
go with
powerful.
things that
know.
are reputable. If it says 200 milligrams, make sure it means 200 milligrams of CBD. That's more likely to be truthful.
Yes,
Because the cartridge itself is 500 milligrams.
correct. That's super true. If I saw something and it said, and I know it to be a half-gram cartridge for vape oils, and it said 200 milligrams of CBD, I would believe that.
Yeah,
That's because I
That
know that
makes
there'd be that's about a third of what the
but when it
cartridge
says
is.
500,
I
I'm
just-
a little skeptical,
Yeah.
and you got to read between the lines
Exactly.
and the fine print.
That's like when you go to one of those pop-ups in one of the legal states and it says, "Oh, 350 milligram." What do you mean? Is that what the actual thing weighs?
right.
Or
Right.
so you always be wary.
Yeah. So we were waiting for our caller, Mike, to call in. The number is 203-684-8907. I
Oh
know.
man,
But anyway,
which is fun. He's working. It's a
Yeah,
hemp
no.
farm, which is awesome. And
Well,
I'd like
I
to
know he-
talk about this a little bit more before he gets on. You know,
okay, yeah.
great
Mike,
background. Tell us
yeah,
a
let
little
me
bit about it.
give you a little bit about background about Mike.
And he was recommended by our friend.
Ellen Brown, yes.
Can't
and
go wrong with that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So Mike, he runs a company called D&G Ag Tech and SweetHeal.com. So D&G Ag Tech basically seems to be a company for agriculture growing.
Correct.
So it would be some of the equipment he uses more
Mhm.
for. I think it's more for extraction than anything else.
Correct.
I don't want to read his full bio
No,
here
you don't
till
gotta
I
go in-
know till he's on the air.
But here's the background. Let's sum that up. He does hemp here in Connecticut,
right,
and he is on the first line base of the hemp industry. He's
Right.
not a retailer, he's not a reseller, and he's not a broker. He's
a farmer.
He's a farmer.
Right.
And that's what we're looking to do, continue to support local farmers.
right.
And that's why it was very awesome when we were talking about finding a guest for this week's show. What did we say? We said we wanted a local hemp farmer.
Right. And we've had, certain
Great people.
on all the time. And I wanted to get a new guy on who actually has a hemp farm in Connecticut.
Which is awesome.
He runs, actually, the name of the farm is A Good Enough Farm. It's been in his family for 5 generations. And he produces 10 times, he's farming hydroponically. Oh, it's a hydroponic farm. So it produces 10 times the amount of crops for area soil-based farms and uses 90% less water.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
he's really moving forward with his family's farm. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure we can show that if your great grandparents built a farm, you should be able to take over and really move forward with it. So yes, to supporting the local farmers, we support as many and all people as we can. We are non-supportive.
All right, so let's do this. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and newhavenindependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up.
Thank you. Joe's got to pay them bills sometimes.
Yeah, we do. So, while we're talking about Mike, let's talk a little bit about home grow.
That's where I was hoping we would go from that one there, brother.
And how everybody in New England has home grow except Connecticut. Now I'm just reading here, the New Hampshire lawmakers have advanced a bill permitting people to home grow cannabis.
Correct.
So we know Maine already has it. We know Vermont already has it. We know Rhode Island already has it.
Well, coming down, you're right up the line coming down. So we have Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. Those would be those three northern New England states.
New Hampshire has it.
Massachusetts, Rhode Island has it, and now we're the last New England
state
we are
to
the
have
last
home grow.
New England state.
But we had medical.
That's crazy.
And New Hampshire was the one holdout. We always used to say, well, at least it's not as bad as New Hampshire, right?
And now,
because they had nothing. But
and
now
that 15-minute drive sucked.
Yeah, and now you see, now they're getting stuff together. Now they're going to put it.
And that's where I believe that our medical marketplace has a huge potential.
Here's the problem with Connecticut, okay? And I'm just going to flat out say it.
Go ahead, Joe.
It is corporately controlled.
You're right.
We are a corporate state. Legislators up there like corporations over small businesses. Okay.
I get you, Joe.
Mike is here.
All right.
We
awesome,
can talk
brother.
a little bit about that. And anyway, the closer of that is those corporate people who are growing the weed now do not want homegrown.
They don't want home. But we got to
lobbies.
get it. We got to get our little home grow right. And it's support for cottage industry. And,
we'll see.
Let's see what Mike's got to say.
Michael Goodenough. Mike is how are you today, Mike?
Good. Sorry about those extra 2 minutes there.
That's okay.
That's okay, sir.
Michael Goodenough. I'm just going to give you a little intro here. Mike is the CTO of D&G AgTech and SweetHeal.com. Mike has led the IT industry in security and compliance for the past 30 years, and additionally has been working with local universities on cultivation and extraction of cannabinoids from cannabis. He brings extensive experience in the process of extraction organically using nothing more than ethanol and fractional distillation. Mike has extensive experience with IoT smart devices and blockchain. Michael also runs the Goodenough Farm, which has been in the Goodenough family for 5 generations. Farming hydroponically produces 10 times the amount of the crops of soil-based farms and uses 90% water. Growing hydroponically reduces the use of fertilizers by 1/6 of traditional farming. Crops are grown year-round in a fraction of the time while producing predictable quantities and quality of better crop yields. I'm going to let you finish that, but basically D&G AgTech has been growing hemp in Vermont and now expanding to Connecticut, and that's the punchline here. We're launching our largest expansion effort into our 40,000 square foot greenhouse. So, Mike.
Yes, sir.
That was a great intro. I wanted to just touch base with you a little bit more. We covered on the beginning of the show, hemp is now legal in Connecticut to grow. Am I correct? The governor signed the bill on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Excitedly, huh?
Yes, sir.
So, as a hemp farmer, tell us now, what is the next steps for you to start getting your seeds in the ground? What kind of application do you have to fill out? And do you think that they're going to be able to get this together in time for you to plant for this year?
Yeah. So, you know what? Honestly, we have to really take a minute and be appreciative to the selectmen and absolutely everybody who kind of got this whole piece up and running for us, right? They really understood that as farmers, we needed to be in the ground in time. And I think they were able to pull this pilot program through in time for us. Obviously, there's remediation and some things that need to be rectified and thought through because Connecticut has some of the oldest farming laws in the country. So we copied kind of Kentucky and their laws. And they don't necessarily have the same farming laws that protect our farmers, but that's another thread. I think
Right.
to your question, ultimately, the Department of Agriculture, which is going to be the first license for a grower if you're growing, should be ready by the end of this week. Their website will be available. It's only going to be web-based applications. So for those folks that are out there eager to try and get an application and running down to the Department of Ag right now, you're going to have to wait like me. We're all going to have to take a beat and take a breath for a minute and be patient. But I would assume, and I've been told, that they'll have it ready by the end of the week, which is huge.
Yeah,
That
that's
is-
big.
That's quick.
It's amazing how
Yeah.
fast they can work when they feel a lot of pressure. And I do want to thank them. I agree with
Yes,
you, Mike. I want to
definitely.
thank the senators
thank
and the,
you,
and the
yes.
reps who backed this, especially Senator Christine Cohen,
Mm-hmm.
who went behind this to get it done quickly. But you're right. So by the end of the week, they've done it real quickly for you guys. And I think a lot of that came from Department of Ag pressure, too.
Yeah,
It's nice when they get a little internal pressure.
that's beautiful. They really.
Well,
did
I
look out.
think we have to the blessing of what you're doing, right? The work that you're dealing with. The message now is there are 30,000 different things that can be done with this plant. There are now, I was in a meeting where budgets were being discussed and people were concerned about jobs and other things within Connecticut. And, the reality is I wanted to turn around and just go, there's 30,000 new businesses that can be built. Be creative.
Right.
Grab a hold of any one of them possibly and run with it. Whether it's hempcrete, whatever
Yes. Don't
industry
give my
you're
secret
in,
out.
there is some absolute use. We are opening up a whole brand new industry,
Right.
and that is we're the melting pot, right? I mean, this has been our history.
Right.
And
Yes,
so it's time to be that melting pot and get out of that mental control of I need a job, and let's start forming that business.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Because this is, you're right. This is, I don't think they realize the scale of hemp and what can be done with it. But when you say a new industry, we're talking as big as the textile industry, as big as the
Yes, sir.
oil industry, as big as the, I don't want to say big pharma, but I would say the wellness, the vitamin industry, let's say, supplements.
Nutraceuticals.
Supplement, nutraceuticals. I don't want to even mention
Supplement.
big
Yes,
pharma.
sir. Yeah, that's
But
the
we're-
proper term. Absolutely.
Yeah, but we're talking, these are large, this is an industry. Like, look how
It is.
big the oil industry is. Look how
Yes.
big the textile industry is. All this can be done with hemp, and still the other industries can coexist with it. I think that's always been the problem. The oil industry is afraid hemp is going to put it out of business. The textile industry is afraid hemp is going to put it out of business. But I think these people are finally coming around to see that, well, maybe we can use hemp and use this and in conjunction with what we're already doing.
You're right. And Joe, I think Mike will agree when I say anything made out of wood or synthetically built out of oil, you can produce with hemp.
Yeah.
100%.
I think for the new, the new world, so to speak, but for the new era, the new generation, that hemp is really going to be the major industrial use crop of, let's say, the 2030s.
Yeah.
By 2030, I would
Mhm.
say in the next 10 years, it's going to be you're going to see houses built out of it.
Yep.
And I think this is the way we're going because we've exhausted those other resources. They legalized this because they knew they had to.
Yes.
And it's speed. It's speed to harvest. So,
Yes.
I mean, we can we can grow 10 times faster than a tree.
Mhm.
Right.
The production of it, the speed of which its growth is going to be needed, and then the ability to reclaim, right? So you bring in things like the Audubon and other organizations that are about letting the soil reclaim. Well, if we're letting things reclaim, let it reclaim something that's natural.
Right.
That's right.
Let it reclaim something organic again.
Right.
And I think that's the other side of the story. People are worried about straws and plastic bags, and there is a solution to all of these areas utilizing hemp. And so the industry is going to explode, and what we can do is grab onto that. So,
Right.
right now you see CBD as being the other key area around what hemp does, and that's because this cannabinoid has blown our minds, right? It's now something that literally changes the game, and it gives an amazing amount of relief, whether it's to major skin irritations or all the way down to arthritis and so many amazing uses. And the extraction process, if done, and remember, we're talking differently than what from the medicinal side of the world, the THC side of the world, right? Because to get licensed in hemp, it's going to cost you a couple of $100 in this state. And so you're going to have to register if you're going to make or manufacture products with the Department of Consumer Protection. And that license is going to be a couple of $100. And you can manufacture and you can work with it. Now, they're also going to be ready at the end of this week.
The
and
production
so
licenses
in both
as well.
organizations have worked diligently. Now, I think our Department of Consumer Protection controlling what's happening within the extraction or manufacturing side is too much, personally.
I agree.
think they need to be involved for consumables, for labels, for certain things. But I think we, as Connecticut, have some of the oldest farming rights in the country, and we protect our farmers and allow our farmers to manufacture, process, or to extract what they grow on their farm.
Right.
And so we don't necessarily need that control that Kentucky did. Sorry.
Right.
Yes.
Very, very well. And right, of course, we're one of the oldest states in the country. People don't realize that. We've been farming here longer than a lot of these states before they were even states.
Yes, sir.
So that is, we have a great agriculture background here.
And not even,
this is a way to revive it.
Yes, sir. And we talk about the CBD portion of it, but the byproducts that'll come from the extraction portion, your pulp will go into a different industry. Reclaiming it into your soil will be a completely different industry. And there's so much openness now that people only start thinking CBD. But I'm looking forward to affordable hemp jeans.
Yeah, hemp clothing. Now, Mike, let me ask you a question. Obviously, you would know this. There is a difference between the hemp grown for CBD and the hemp grown for clothing and more industrial uses. Am I correct about that?
So going back to the thousands of different uses.
Yes.
There are different styles and different ways and different genetics that you would want to match some of the uses. So yes, for paper, for harvesting it, you would grow it as a reed. You would trim off all of the runners that a person that would want to grow it for the flower or the CBD content would actually stimulate the runners that come off of the plant. So yes, there are different ways to grow this plant specific to the industry you're growing it for, right? And so, but again, this comes back to the way we've dealt with vines for wineries. You can also super crop this plant and keep it low and bushy. There are many different ways. This plant is an amazing plant. Its structure is extraordinary.
So, Mike, what I'm hearing you say is that there's really no reason why every farm in Connecticut shouldn't be farming some style of hemp. Because what I hear you say is, yes, you might not want two tomato farms next to each other because of oversaturation of the tomato market, but literally one farm next to another could be growing hemp for a completely different process and a completely different style.
That's correct. I think, sorry, I'm getting some feedback. Are you guys getting that?
No, we're good here.
Okay, excellent. Awesome. So yeah, no, I mean, each one of these different areas and the different processes. Now, there is a potential for cross-pollination and male to female. And that could become very problematic because when a male cross-pollinates the female, they both start growing seeds, and obviously seeds take the nutrition away from the actual flower.
Right.
And so there are different there's different needs. So the potential of cross-pollination is there. I, to your point, totally think every farmer within Connecticut should start supplementing their crops by bringing in a high yield. And there is a lot of money from a hemp plant within its life cycle if you are using the pulp, using the entire plant and what you can get from it.
Well, yeah, I read here.
I think every farmer should have an acre, but I think they should learn about what they want to do. I think each way they need to learn how to grow this plant. And I think they should all plant an acre. I think those that have some background with it can plant a couple, 10, 15. I don't think any farmer should ever take the risk of throwing a couple hundred acres out there of this plant without learning
Well, you
appropriate
said the
spacing.
license is going to be a few $100s as compared to a marijuana growing license, which they want $25,000 just to apply, right? It's going to be, I think they said like $300 to $500, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the right now we don't have the exact numbers, but the bill the pilot program itself specified it would be $250.
Okay.
And then you're paying an additional $58 per acre that you would want to farm. From an extraction perspective, it's about the equivalent. The difference is you're also going to be registering individuals. But we have to see how that is going to be spelt out from each of the organizations. But no, the registration is minimal. Absolutely minimal.
So it'd be worth it for $300 to grow an acre. And I'm reading here, the Farm Bureau says that an acre of hemp is worth
It's worth a good
$37,000 to $150,000.
Could be.
So there you go.
Okay, so let's do the math real quick. You want to take 2 seconds to do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I've done the math.
Now remember, you got to buy seeds. You got to buy appropriate genetics. You're probably going to have to staff 2 people per
Mhm.
acre, if not every half acre, right? So
Okay.
there's maintenance and there's time and there's water. With that being said, and there's the cost of seeds and the potential of loss. But remember, you can insure this crop.
Mm-hmm.
This crop is federally legal and it's state legal. It's
That's
not
right.
the same thing as a medical side of the world. So you can also pull insurance. Okay. With that being said, you're going to make a much larger investment into the footprint. However, if I grow 1 pound per plant, which is a good grow, that's a good product. That means I've done good. I can get 2,200 to 2,500 plants per acre. 1 pound, $50 per acre, right? I'm sorry, $50 per pound, and you're growing 2,500 or 2,200, depending on what your loss ratio is that you're going to want to put in there,
Right.
and expecting that you're putting 30 grand into the overall piece to 30,000 to 40,000 to the acre. The reality is you stand the chance of making $90,000 to $100,000 per acre.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Just the math is very simple. It depends on what your total cost is going to be.
Yep,
It is
and-
a very
And that's just
profitable
selling
crop.
it off as the flower. That's
It's,
just, or whatever, the whole
it's
deal, selling off.
selling it off as like large bale bags,
Right.
So that and Mike
And
is right.
that
and
doesn't
I've-
even include producing it or
But
if-
I've also, depending on your marketplace, I've heard things from $20 a pound as well. So that even at $20 a pound, you're looking at Yeah.
Right now, it's close to $400 a pound for anything
Yeah.
that's quality for extraction.
for quality.
Right
for
now, granted, the
extraction,
market's
yeah.
going to have huge swings. It's totally unpredictable. I personally don't think it's going to dive below 50, but even if it does, you're still looking at a radically profitable crop.
super profitable.
Because
especially if you're extracting it yourself.
as the usage grows, then of course the demand is going to grow. And
Right.
You're going to have the whole
And
supply
these farmers
and demand.
need to know how to harvest this properly. They need to know how to dry this properly. They have to have a plan for what they're going to do with it because
Mhm.
nobody's going to show up to just, not necessarily. Look,
If you
1/3
know
of the
my
crops were
phone
left
number, I
behind
will.
in Kentucky and Oregon because nobody knew what to do with the popcorn, right? With the small stuff.
Right.
They didn't have the ability to dry it at such a large scale. They didn't have extraction licensing and people in place to do extraction.
Correct.
That's a huge area for us. So
Right.
for those farmers that are going to be looking at how to deal with this come the season end and they go through harvest, we can help them. We can
Mhm.
extract for them. We can get to that CBD oil and that pure distillate. My team is extraordinary in this and have been doing it for 20, 30 years in the makeup and the biodiesel industry.
Mhm.
And so
So you will be
we also have to
procuring one
get-
of those
Go ahead.
extraction licenses.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
right now we're out of Vermont. The reality is we want to come home to Connecticut now that
course.
it's legal. That's our pure push, and that's the expansion that you were talking about in the very beginning.
Right.
Our expansion is we're heavily investing into growing into Connecticut. We're pushing close to $1.5 million worth of investment here.
Wow. And how many acre farm is it, Mike?
So we're pure greenhouse. So we do in Vermont, we grow outdoor. In Connecticut, we're growing pure greenhouse. We have 40,000 square feet of greenhouse. And we're doing everything from seedlings all the way for farmers that are out there that want to put something in the ground that's bigger than a seed. And we're doing full plants all year round.
Wow. Great. And so now that you're going to be ramping things up, will you be looking for people to come work for you? Will you be hiring? Will you be expanding in that way?
Part of the direction we're going is with the Veteran Agricultural Center. So we're going to be teaching vets on a 5-week to 15-week training period. And so that will deal with a lot of our greenhouse staffing. We will be hiring in Eastford and up towards the Pomfret Way.
Okay.
So yeah, this expansion is going to bring a lot of new jobs. And we plan on doing a lot of consulting with a lot of the farmers that are out there. And again, every acre that's being planted, we need at least 2 headcount for.
Right.
So, yeah,
we're just talking about one farm.
Teaching a hemp education.
Yes, we have, and I'd like to expand on that now that it's legal. So you and I should talk after this, and bring some of that education down this way, because a lot of the people, I know you're upstate and you're going to be doing it hands-on up there, but maybe there's a way we can do something down here and actually bring people up to your farm to get some hands-on training as well.
No, I would love that.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, a lot of what's being done is due to UConn's efforts that are out there. And I think it's been a huge blessing to have that effort leading the way and shining a light for the others that have wanted to be able to be activists within this whole environment and within this whole space. We literally bet our farm on it this year that it was going to be pulled through, and a lot of it has been in the relationship that we've had with the UConn space and with the relationship that UConn's had with the Department of Ag and the pilot program that was put into place so many years ago. And so for all the folks that have been involved, a huge shout out and a great blessing. Connecticut's been really blessed to have you all.
UConn has really been a big supporter of hemp. I actually went and visited the crop they had last year, and it was quite impressive up there. And I commend them for even starting the course they did. I think there's room for more education as well, because let's be real, it's not that
we're gonna make sure
cost
we set
effective
that up
there. And it's there's plenty of room for it. So
we'll make sure
Mike,
to get you down.
What I want to bring home to the listeners is, when we talk about what you were just speaking of, like 2 people per acre, plus you need people to extract. We're talking about one farm here in Connecticut. Let's say there's 10. We end up with 10 hemp farms. That's a lot of jobs for the state. That is a lot of people being put to work. That is a lot of product being put out there. It could change, it could really change the economy of the state. And I hope the legislators and the citizens realize that.
Mm-hmm.
It could really.
Yeah. And, and we changed the landlock, right? The landlock that the North has been running into with states that are CBD friendly and not CBD friendly,
right,
or hemp friendly or not hemp friendly yet. We break the landlock. We become a major focal point of the business across state lines.
Right.
And that's a huge thing for us to become that hub of industry again.
Right, because we are in the middle. That in some ways has always been an advantage and a disadvantage for us. But I think in this case, it becomes an advantage. So, Mike, I want to wrap it up real quick. How does people get a hold of you for any of your services, whether it be some of your CBD products, whether it be the consulting we spoke of, or whether possibly being interested in coming up and working for you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
So you can reach us at sweetheal.com. That's SWEETHEAL.com, or at DGAgTEK.com.
Okay.
Both of those websites are filled with ways to reach us. The DG AgTech is going to change to a very hemp-specific focus. We're trying to avoid, the big areas of issue, you guys, and things we still need to push to change are the landlocks, the Facebooks, the Googles that are preventing us from doing appropriate advertising. Now that this is federally legal and state legal, there's a lot of technology companies which are standing in our way of free enterprise, and it's something that I think from an advocate standpoint, we really need to start jumping on and calling these companies to action, because they're preventing us from doing free business, right?
And I think we can. I think we could take up that challenge.
Put some info on your websites, and we'll send people to sweetheal.com or dgagtech.com. And if they want to learn more about your companies and how they can help get the hemp,
or if they want to hire you as a consultant.
That's right.
There you go, guys.
There you go. All right, Mike.
Thanks for having us on.
It's been a pleasure. And we hope to talk to you soon. And I do want to follow up about that education thing with you.
We are going to follow up because I'd like to come up and say hello. Hopefully when you're in Connecticut, we can set something up. And me and Joe and I and maybe Keeber, if she's available, we can come down. We'll talk. We'll put you out there. Put your beautiful hemp farm out on the airwaves or something.
All right.
That'd be absolutely brilliant. Thanks, team. And great work. We really appreciate your voices.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
brother.
you too, Mike. Thank you.
Have a great day. Joe, I think we got to pay the bills one more time.
All right. You're listening to the Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We're streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page and look us up. So let's figure out what's going on.
Joe, that was nice.
That was a great interview. Mike is really knowledgeable about the plant, and he gave us some really good information. So I hope people, you were listening to that.
This is big.
That he really broke down hemp, how much money you can make off it, and what it takes. So
And what he put out there was there's at least 100 jobs coming.
yeah.
That's what he put out
Yeah,
there.
there's gonna
You
be
know how many
jobs
jobs
coming.
he's talking about?
Yeah.
Working with a Veterans Alternative Healing Program in
Yeah.
state.
Like what they
That's
did.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
similar
stuff.
to what
Sarah.
Sarah's doing.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, it's engaging the veterans. It's giving them the plant therapy. It's getting them in the fields. So that's going to be his staff. He said
Yeah.
that's going to be his
It's gonna
greenhouse
be
staff.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent.
amazing.
Excellent. So,
With other jobs on top of it, brother.
right. Production jobs. And so, like he said,
Everything you're teaching.
two heads per acre.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
How many
Somebody's
acres?
got a 100-acre farm.
There's going to be hundreds of acres in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Hundreds of acres
We're just talking
in
one farm
Connecticut.
with him.
Right.
You know how many people we know that are
Yeah.
doing farms?
Tons of people
Between us, just
Yeah.
us. There's probably people out there we don't even know about.
that we don't know.
That's right.
We want you to go do hemp. If you're
Yeah.
in our listening area and you
Grow
haven't
hemp.
grow hemp, you have an acre that like
Pay
like
that
Mike said,
$250.
he said, you know, you can still grow your tomatoes. You
You
can
got
still
two
do your
kids?
farms.
There's your farmers.
That's it.
There's your farm hands. You got an acre of land and 2 kids, you're golden.
Gold and realistically, that might even fall under some of the people who live in the back areas of like East Haven,
Yeah, you
where
never
they're
know.
suburban areas, but they
Got
have all this
big
farm. They
land,
have
yeah.
like 2-3 acres that
Maybe
they're
not
not
enough
doing
for a
nothing
giant
too.
farm, but enough, to plant some hemp. George Washington said everybody should have at least a half acre of hemp.
yes, you're 100%
That's what he
right.
said. As long as you had the land, you should grow at least a half acre of hemp.
You should.
So let's talk about what's going on this week before
What do we got
sign
going
off.
on, my brother?
May 15th is Lobby Day
Yes,
at
sir.
the LOB.
Come
we asked
out.
people to show up at 9 a.m. at the LOB to start lobbying these legislators. We are down to the final wire here. June 5th is the date. So we have to get the last 10 people over the hump.
And for Lobby Day, let's be super honest about it. We figure 9, you get there 9, 10 o'clock-ish. Let's plan to be there for a couple hours, guys.
Yeah, by at least noon. Stay there
know,
till noon. Figure
you
9
know,
to noon, you're going to be there.
You're going to be there for a couple hours. We're going to talk to some people. We're going to show out. We're going to fight. Not fight like
No,
evil,
not
but
fight,
like
just
fight
chat.
for our rights. Moving out. You know what I mean? So
Then that night, after Lobby Day, is
Yes,
going to
sir.
be the Connecticut Normal meeting.
I love it.
That's at the Grove in Milford at 7. Now, this is important for you guys. This is the last meeting before the vote.
Yes.
There will not be another normal meeting till after the vote has
Correct.
already happened or doesn't happen.
Let's show
So
force.
this is important. We're going to go out and get the names of those legislators, and we're going to come up with a game plan on how to, go out. I don't want to say attack, but that is a word. Anyway, this Saturday up here in New Haven at the Canna Health office at Temple Street,
Yes, sir.
Kibra's doing a class on Cannabis 101.
Yes, she is. So go on.
That's Canna Health. Visit Canna Health. I think you can get the tickets at, or it's on Eventbrite. Yeah.
Yep. So
That's
you
at
can
10
link off
o'clock.
of Facebook.
It's a basic cannabis course.
Yep.
Teaches you kind of a lot of different things about the plant, what you need to know, and then it's an intro so that if you do want to continue education, then you
can
continue with some
continue
of the other
on
classes.
with this. Yep. That's a beautiful
we
thing.
have, which
and that's
would
out of New
be-
Haven.
That's the New Haven one, and then on the 25th we have another cooking class with
Yes, sir.
Uncle Lou.
Saturday morning.
Cooking with Cannabis. That's May
Yep.
the 25th at 10 a.m., and that's in the Grove in Milford.
Correct.
That is one of the most popular classes we
It is.
teach.
We love it.
It's a fun class. There may be some sampling going on. I don't know. You
we
have
do
to wait till
we
you
put
come
some
there.
CBD inside. What we do is we teach you the basic building blocks of your
Yeah, decarboxylation, how to
decarboxylation, yep.
infuse, how to make oils
Yep.
and butters, and then what do you use them for.
Exactly. And that can go along right what our guest said today.
Yeah.
He's got great flour that's coming out at reasonable prices, that if you purchase it from the correct supply chain, you could do the entire, he's making CBD oil. So you go get yourself some pure CBD oil from a Connecticut farm
and just
make
bake
yourself.
with it. Yeah, because I think you go over the difference of like making it from flour or making it from distillate.
We do.
Right.
We do.
Because, look, let's face it, distillate or whatever concentrate is a lot easier to cook with than actually going through the process of
the novelty of flour baking is over.
Decarboxylating it yourself. That is, people do it for you.
Yeah.
Let them.
Guys like Mike, who's going to have great CBD distillate.
Yeah, you don't need to make your own butter. But we're going to teach you how to do that anyway, because decarboxylating is a huge thing.
It's
you
big.
got to learn to use
even
that.
with wax, even with concentrate.
Yeah, you have to decarboxylate.
So now with hemp and CBD, I love it, Joe, and we keep pushing forward.
Yeah, just keep following us, people. It's really important. Again, follow Connecticut Normal, follow Canna Health page. Always information about which of these legislators are on the fence or need to are voting no.
Yeah,
and I hear our music is coming on.
I love it.
So that means we'll see you next week. I do have a little bad news. Kibra will not probably be on the show for the next couple weeks.
Just a couple weeks. She's got a lot of stuff going on. They're really busy at work, and we love her as always. So
she's got 3 offices now. Canna Health in Milford.
Right.
Will be open from 2 to 6 this week on Wednesday.
And we are looking to fill appointments.
That's right. I want to fill 10 appointments a week, so 2 to 6.
2 to 6,
on
guys.
Wednesday, Canna Health in Milford at the Grove. We'll see y'all next week.
Have a great day. Stay happy, healthy, and high.
Bye-bye.
Tell us down, we won't go far. Blue sherbet stuff to hold y'all. 100 P's on the Bay Bridge, stuck in traffic. If I ever run into Riri, let's make magic. Die doing something you love, it ain't tragic. Heard what I said, it ain't tragic. From the home of lay down, smoking ratchets. Never win when you spell it backwards. I got green in the Bay, my whole team Packers. Hold the plug, I need 100 P's. And my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 P's. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Told the plug I need 100 P's. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 P's. Now my shoebox got 100 G. Gucci slides with the G's while I'm selling P's. Walking proof, money growing trees. Hit the plug. Since I met you, baby, all I know is that I want more. I really thought that I had seen it all. Had no premonition that I would slip and fall. But just when I think that loving you is gonna make me so tired, you turn around and tell me something so damn sweet, and it takes me just a little bit higher. Since I met you, baby, all I know is that I want more. Since you've been gone, all the minutes they seem like hours. Tick tock, tick tock, won't you come home soon? 'Cause when it comes time to see you, there's only one thing I wanna do. I say good God, pretty mama, I really can't believe that this is true.
me so much lower that I could go. I got trouble on my mind. I got a burden on my soul. And since I met you, baby, all I know is that I want more. All I know is that I want more. The only thing that I want, the only thing that I need, the only thing that I want, the only thing that I need. So give me some more, when I wake up in the morning and in the middle of the night. Good, woman. You make me feel alright. Oh, you know you look alright. So give me some more. So give me some more. Since I met you, baby.
This is Harry Droz, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven. You are now entering another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of critical thinking. A journey to a wondrous land with boundaries that of clarification. Your next stop, the Sanity Zone.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
So you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 Yes.
I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
All right. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. What's up, people? How you doing? What's up? I'm gonna jump into the news because I started my show a little bit late, but jump right into the news. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit different this time. I usually go with news that isn't political. This way I start the show off not jumping straight into politics and then I move towards politics. I'm gonna do the same thing, but this time I'm gonna start with local news, right? So this way I give you a little taste of what's going on, in the local scene. All right, let's jump into it. Now, anybody who hasn't heard the show or seen the show before, we're broadcasting live on New Haven Independent's Facebook page. So if you want to see what's going on, I usually put up the article that I'm talking about, or if you hear the audio you're listening to, sometimes I have a video attached to that. So if you want to be part of the show or see the show live, go to New Haven Independent's Facebook page or WNHH Radio's Facebook page or at WNHHLP on Twitter. Same on Periscope, New Haven Independent on YouTube. So we're broadcasting all over the place. You could catch us on one of those mediums. So let's jump into it now. This is from ABC 3340. I'm not sure where in Connecticut, but New Haven, Connecticut. Here you go. AP is reporting. A Connecticut man has been indicted on charges that he threatened to kill President Donald Trump and sent letters he claimed contained anthrax. Gary Joseph Gravel of New Haven faces charges including conveying false information about an explosive and threats against the president. Authorities say 51-year-old Gravel last year sent letters addressed to Trump, the Islamic Center of New London, and others that contained white powdery substance with messages such as "You die." Some of the letters appeared to contain baby powder. He has been in custody since he was arrested in September for violating the terms of his supervised release. He was previously convicted in 2013 of sending threatening letters. Okay, so there you go. That's somebody from New Haven, right? Crazy enough to send threatening letters to not just Donald Trump. He sent it to, what was that, the Islamic something center? So, the Islamic Center of New London, he sent it to. So, he was actually, he just hates, right? And he probably sent it to the Islamic Center so that they could blame somebody on the Trump side. Just guessing, because that's what a lot of the fake complaints or fake attacks end up being, right? So you have these places where you find graffiti and everything, and they say, oh, a white supremacist or something. Oh, you has to be Donald Trump, because immediately the media assigns blame to the Republican Party or Donald Trump, right? If there's some type of hate, they always try to make that connection because they want you to think, because the media knows where most of the hate comes from. But they want you to think that it's coming from people on Trump's side, which it usually isn't. If you want to see a lot of violence and everything, it usually is coming from some loon progressive or something. But this loon progressive, Gary Joseph Grable, allegedly sent all these things, and but it doesn't surprise me that he comes from New Haven, right? Because I listen and hear a lot of people, some who have wished or cursed the death of Donald Trump in front of me, right? So it doesn't surprise me, because most of the Democrats are hypocrites, right? They hate Donald Trump for his speech, his freedom of speech, right? But they want their free speech, right? They want to be able to say anything about Donald Trump. But if Donald Trump calls Joe Sleepy Joe, oh, look at the discourse where it's fallen to, the discourse is no longer civil and blah, 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 right? But they could say whatever they want about Trump. They could actually lie about Trump. I still have the same conversations with people, even though sometimes we resolve the issues, right? Like, I'll give somebody the transcript of the Charlottesville fiasco of Trump commenting on the people who were there to protest the taking down of the General Lee statue, right? And if you read the transcript or if you see the whole video, it's clear what he meant, right? But the media masterfully edited video so that you don't get to hear the beginning, you don't get to hear the ending. You just get to hear the quote that there were good people on both sides, even though he had condemned the white supremacists, he had condemned Antifa, right? So the thing is that so the media has sold you the propaganda of hate. And it's hard for these people. Like I said, I have these same conversations. So I'll show them these transcripts. They'll go, oh, well, yeah, we know what he meant, but what he said. And I'll be like, wait a minute. Can we just be honest? And I ask Democrats right now, can we just be honest about some things, right? Donald Trump, he has come out against some anti-Semitism. He has come out against anti-Muslim attacks. He has come out against all types of hatred because the media doesn't believe him. They don't actually allow you to hear those times he does that, right? Now, I could show people all the time, well, look, this is what really happened. And they'll stay quiet. A lot of times they'll, in anger, they don't even want to see the information. And then we'll have the same conversation 2 weeks later about their psychosis, their Trump derangement syndrome doesn't allow them to move on from the hate that they initially were infected with, right? Because it's some type of virus going around in Democrats. They can't move on. A lot of them can't move on. And it is worrisome because, I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of these people are intelligent people. A lot of these people, are so much more educated than I am. And I hear it all the time, the the condescending way people talk to you because, hey, they graduated from a certain college or they just know more than you because, they're smarter than you. So they feel sorry. A lot of people, they try to turn their anger into some type of condescending way of looking down on you, right? I mean, it's still anger. I mean, it's still hate. But I've heard it all the time. You really, you're for Trump? Why? And I'll be, and I answer honestly. Trump is a lot like me, right? We say stuff in a certain way. I don't look to be politically correct. I don't look to make you feel better about the crisis going on in your head, right? So if, and like I say you guys a lot, which offends people here, right? I say you guys. Why do you say you guys, right? There may be women who don't want to be called guys, or you got to be careful the way you talk around people. Nah, I don't. I really don't. Because I am innocently grouping people into a term describing a group of people, a group of friends, a group of co-workers, you guys. Do I really have to spell it out for you? Do I have to apologize because I'm grouping you into a group of people? I'm not talking down to you. I'm not being prejudiced about anything. I'm just using a term, right? But it offends some people. I don't know why. I mean, the PC police is strong here in Connecticut. I know that, but it just makes no sense to me that we have to worry about first off, we have freedom of speech, right? And I'm not yelling fire in a crowded theater when I say you guys, or when I call you the religious left, which offended some people. Religious left, look, you guys, here you go, you guys. That includes women, men, or however you're feeling that day, whatever you want to be. You be who you want to be, and I'll be who I am. I can't change that, right? So anyway, the religious left, I said that the other day, some people took offense to it, right? But you guys are treating fake news or accusations that Trump did something, which, by the way, we had a full investigation over 2 years, actually close to 3 years when you count Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, right? And that group of people who investigated Trump for like 6 to 9 months before he got handed off to Robert Mueller. And even Peter Strzok said there was no there, right? And Lisa Page testified in front of Congress that they had nothing up until the point that they handed it off to Robert Mueller. So that tells you they were dealing with no evidence at all of anything, yet they still continue to investigate an innocent man, Donald J. Trump. Oh, how can you call him an innocent man? He's a rich person, he's... Yeah, I hear all these things, right? So they go, are you kidding me? Someone who makes his money like him, he can't be innocent or whatever. He paid off Stormy Daniels. I'm not saying he's Jesus Christ. For all have sinned and fall short. Right? Right? All you Christians out there who hate Trump. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Right? Right? At least think about that one. Think about that one. Right? Because you're looking at whether a person is perfect, which Obama was never perfect. Never. Anyway, so You're looking for perfection in a human being when all you should be looking at are the skills that he has to do his job. And do his job he has. He's done it exceptionally well. The low unemployment. Even with this, even right now, with the China negotiations that are getting a little muddy with tariffs being thrown each way, right? The stock market is still over 25,000, right? Unemployment rate is still at 3.6. It isn't affecting our everyday life. Yes, I'm sure there's some farmers who are being affected by this. I heard this morning that soybean farmers and all of this, some of them are being affected. Well, with all the tariffs being collected, Congress should pass some type of bill that would compensate these farmers until we make this deal with China. That'll actually make Trump stand more strong against China if they see they can't hurt us, right? Take the tariffs we're collecting and help the farmers, help the people being affected by this little trade war, this mini trade war, right? So really, we should look at these skills that he brings, right? Obama said he was going to renegotiate NAFTA. He never did. He never even got close to doing it. Trump did it. And it's still being waited on. Nancy Pelosi and her never Trumpers are holding that New Deal because they don't want to give Trump a victory. He renegotiated NAFTA so that we win. And Nancy Pelosi is holding on to it. She hasn't brought it in front on the floors to be voted on so that it goes to the Senate. Right? He renegotiated with South Korea. He's renegotiating with everybody. And we're winning those negotiations. We should be happy because that's bringing more jobs our way. That's making our economy stronger. But instead, the media focuses you on the most ridiculous stuff. What last week we were talking about his tax returns from 1985. We were actually talking about his tax returns from 1985. I was supposed to defend Trump losing $1 billion from 1985 to 1992. And I was like, what is there to defend? The man lost money. He had some business ventures that amounted to nothing, actually amounted to worse. He lost money. He's not the first businessman to go through that. It actually makes his success and his presidency more impressive that he dusted himself off, got back up, and made himself a billionaire again. There is nothing wrong with failure. The only thing wrong with failure is if you accept failure and you just lay down to die. He didn't. So it didn't work out well for the people last week who were telling me, oh, Trump lost $1 billion. First off, we all knew this already. I think he has it in one of his books. If you go and look at The Apprentice, his reality show, I think the first episode of The Apprentice, he talks about losing billions of dollars and having to get up off the ground and move forward. He talks about all of that. And last week, the news and the Democrats recycled an old story that everyone knew. And this is what I mean by Democrats. They worry me because some of them are intelligent people, and I don't mean by education wise. Yeah, I mean some people have been privileged enough to go to the best colleges. That doesn't make you more intelligent than me. It makes you more educated, but education and intelligence it's not the same thing. And I think Martin Luther King said intelligence is education and character or something like that. Whew. You make what you will of that. But character is a big issue with me. Right? And if you can't stand by what you actually say, it's a big deal with me. Right? So anyway. So a lot of these people are intelligent people. They seem intelligent. Yet the media is able to put one over on them easily. You put a little article about Trump losing $1 billion, and they actually treated it like it was new news. They didn't go and do their own homework. Wait a minute, is this the first time we're hearing that Trump had issues in the 80s? No. It was all over the news. Trump's been a public figure for close to 50 years. So, I mean, I get your hate, but hate shouldn't equate to ignorance or I don't know. I'm trying to find a better word than ignorance, but it shouldn't be something where you're intentionally ignorant, right? That you intentionally don't take the second step of checking the story, right? So, all right, I've talked for quite a bit here. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'll come back. Oh, look at this. I had a headline up, right? Oh, I already did the headline. All right, I'm going to come back with another headline. You've been listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
20s, 50s, 100s, 100.
Yeah. So chop it up, wet work. Money still coming through the network. Prime time. Gotta watch me, put money on your head like DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS. Put money on your head like DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS. Put money on your head like DBS.
Got the phone call, everything's a go. She begging me to stay, but I need to go. On the other side, brothers got it cracking. Little dice game, but a lot of trapping. Made a quick stop at the corner store. My homie got a Dutch, but I needed more. Smell it in the air when I'm whipping. I'm like Bobby Flay in the kitchen. Still don't nothing move but the money. Get to work, wrap it up like a mummy. Ship it out of town like I'm FedEx. I go hard for the money, give me credit.
Get around, got the bricks baking now. I need it up front, no disrespect. $1 million man, Ted DiBiase. Look around, that one of y'all trying to shop. Chop it up, wet work. Money still coming through the network. Prime time, gotta watch me. Put money on your head like DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
I do my thing, man.
DBS.
All right, let's get into it. Now, this headline or this article, this is another local story, Connecticut money. And I think this is important to hear, right? Because I heard the lies and the propaganda being passed by the left, right? And like I said, it was lies, but let's get into it. Connecticut money, tax cuts delivered average 25% reduction in taxes. The 2018 tax season ended April 15th for most of us. And the natural question to ask is how much the average American saw his or her taxes drop as a result of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Interestingly, it's not too easy to find that information. There are hundreds of stories in the media about how many people were surprised to find they received a smaller refund than usual or actually owed more taxes when they filed. Those stories cast tax reform in a negative light, but could be are misleading. Refunds dropped slightly on average because many taxpayers neglected to change their withholding last year. It has nothing whatsoever to do with the amount of taxes you owed for 2018. The Tax Policy Center estimated in late March that the average American taxpayer owed $1,260 less for 2018 than for 2017 as a result of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. In an April 11th article, the tax services company H&R Block confirmed that estimate, reporting that tax liabilities among its customers fell an average of $1,200, while refunds actually went up an average of $43. In its report, Tax Reform Impact by State, H&R Block said that through March 31st, its clients' average tax liability fell 24.9%. Tax refunds grew an average of 1.4%, which confuses people who expected to see its rise more due to the TCJA Act. However, the IRS changed its withholding tables in February 2018, reducing the amount withheld from the people's paychecks. That means that most of the gain from tax reform showed up in paychecks throughout the year. H&R Block said its clients received an average of $50 more in biweekly paychecks or $100 a month. I'm going to stop there because it takes some explaining if you don't understand it. Because, I mean, I've explained it before on my show, but more people were receiving Trump's tax cuts in your paycheck, right? Now, so you were receiving more of your own money back. And that's what a tax cut is, right? A tax cut isn't the government giving you anything. A tax cut is the government taking less of your money. So, people were receiving $50 more paycheck on average. $100 more paycheck, $100 more monthly. So it's important to understand that. Now, here's the problem that most people have, right? And they still, you saw that the average tax refund was up $43 per refund. And people were expecting to see a bigger refund. But the reality of it is, and most people don't understand this, you're using the government as a bank, right? So when you're being overtaxed throughout the year on your paycheck, right? So you're being overtaxed. That means that instead of getting the $50 extra paycheck that the tax cut gave you, you were actually giving the government $50 a paycheck or $100 a month, right? So at the end of the year, you had overpaid taxes. And that's why you're getting a refund, because you gave them too much money. So the government was taking a loan from you, an interest-free loan, by the way. You're not getting interest on the money, the overpayment that you made. You're not getting interest. But God forbid you have an underpayment and the IRS will charge you interest. So that's the thing. I think it's a harder thing for people to understand because a lot of people don't even want to understand. They just want their paycheck and they want a big fat refund. But if you explain to them, I think people need to be asked, do you want to have more money throughout the year? Right? So you paid an average of $1,200 less. That means you pay $100 a month less in taxes. So do you want to have that $100 a month? Does that make your life easier, $100 a month? Then you adjust your withholdings so that you get the most out of your paycheck without having to pay taxes at the end. You want to come out even. That should be the goal of everyone, to come out even, break even at tax season. Right? So that's my goal. I've been paying, but that's my goal. So I want to come out as even as possible. Right? Now, if you want a fatter tax return, then you want to make your withholdings, you want your withholdings to be greater. That means you get less money every paycheck, less money every month. And then come tax season, you have a bigger refund. Now, it'll serve you more if you take that $50 a paycheck and put it in the bank and collect interest, or put it in an investment, or put it in your 401k. It would serve you more if you did that, because that means you're taking your money and you're investing it and collecting interest on it. Whereas the government takes it every paycheck, every month, and they hold it for you. They collect the interest, and then they give you the refund minus the interest. See, and that's what happened with this tax cut. A lot of people didn't understand. I guess I'm doing a show only on local news here. A lot of people didn't understand that they actually did much better with this tax cut. The problem is that a lot of us have, electronic fund transfer, right? So we have that automatic. We no longer get a actual check. It's deposited in our account, right? We have the auto deposit. Our paycheck goes into our bank account, and we don't know. We don't see an increase. We don't see an increase. We don't even know there's an increase. Our dollar is stretched, but we don't know it because we didn't look at it. And that has been the problem with this tax cut, that most people don't know that they've been receiving more money in their paycheck. And I hate, to make a tax cut sound as the government is giving you anything, because they're not giving you anything. You're getting to keep more of your money. That means they're taking less of your money. They're not giving you anything. They are taking less of your money. I hope I explained that correctly. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
I ain't in a rush, no. You ain't gotta say it, I know. You ain't been I know. If you need a vibe, let's go. Just love me, love me, love me. You could be the one, just come and trust me. I don't want no one but you to want me. So baby, can you love me, love me, love me?
Trust me, trust me, trust me. Then decide to love me, love me, love me. Again, hate the levels making with me. We be in a Cooper file a Navy. Then decide to love me, love me, love me. Say you want me, you want my baby. Be the same, say you know me. Can't follow us, don't got the Navy. The scene is believing, come and show me, I don't know. Don't cheat and play games, don't Jumanji on the road. Love them lips, so that tell us on the road. Play no games, come and love me.
I ain't in a rush, no. You ain't gotta say it, I know. You ain't been I know. If you need a vibe, let's go. Just love me, love me, love me. You could be the one, just come and trust me. I don't want no one but you to want me. So baby, can you love me, love me, love me? I ain't in a rush, no, no. Never met a that's your type, I know. You look like you should be on my flight, I know. I be wrong even when I know I'm right, I know. Tryna tell you nothing that you do is overrated. I'ma roll it up for every time I hate it. I don't understand why you expect it to the nigga. Anyone who fronted on me got eliminated. I said, baby, come and let me be your provider. I'm just tryna loosen you up without no plier. You can get whatever you want and desire. After I can give you this work, you never fire. I ain't in a rush.
All right. You're listening now. Breaking news, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave. All right, cut the music out because I want to get to some of these local stories. All right, let's jump right into it. This is the Litchfield Times, I think it is. Number of Connecticut opioid deaths shows, and it's an everywhere problem. Okay, in New Haven, the nationwide opioid epidemic has hit hard in Connecticut, where accidental overdoses increased almost 40% from 2015 to 2018. Fentanyl, 100 times more potent than morphine and 50 times stronger than heroin, has become the drug of choice for those addicted to opioids, outstripping heroin and other drugs. In 2018, 760 of the 1,017 opioid-related deaths involved one or more forms of fentanyl. In 2015, only 189 of 729 deaths were fentanyl-related. Hearst, Connecticut media obtained the detailed data about the 3,701 opioid-related deaths over 4 years from the Chief State Medical Examiner's Office. They paint a picture in numbers of a tragedy that is exploding by the year. It's crazy. It's crazy what's happening out there with people who I've never understood addiction. Thank God. I've never understood it. I just never understood looking for drugs to relieve something. I mean, me personally, I'm in pain every day. I've been prescribed opioids and stuff like that. I don't take it because I hate the feeling of my mind being altered. I mean, it feels like, sometimes I feel like, or not anymore. When I initially hurt my back, which is a constant pain. Okay. I mean, I work in pain every day. I get up every morning and sometimes it feels like a horse kicked me in the back. You know, sometimes it's like I don't know how I'm going to make it down the stairs from the pain. I work in a lot of pain. I'm not sure if I show the amount of pain that I'm in, but I've learned to live with a lot of my pain. Even though, like I said, sometimes I don't know how I'm going to make it down the stairs. I don't know how I'm going to make it to my car. You know, and when I get to work, sometimes it's like, you know, I'm waiting for, I don't know, adrenaline or the want of work, the love of work to kick in so that I could do my job. And a lot of times once I'm at work, I got the pain, but like I said, the drive to want to work overcomes the pain a lot of times. Now, once I leave the building, I'm a mess because it's like my body wants to decompress and everything, but everything hurts. Everything hurts. Right? So I've been, like I said, I've been prescribed medicines that I just don't want to take. You know, sometimes over the last few years, I've had there's been times where I need medication. There's been times where my back has spasmed uncontrollably, where I've had to go to the emergency room. I don't know why I'm telling you this personal stuff, but go with it. But I've had to go to the emergency room and get volume shots, right? Because to relax my back or whatever is going on. But it's been maybe that bad twice in the last 10 years, where when that happens, I'm usually done for maybe a month, where I'm bedridden. Hasn't happened in a while, thank God. But sometimes I feel like that's gonna happen, like it's coming, and I know what I need is rest. But sometimes I don't know don't know how to rest. Prefer to be doing something than to focus on the pain. But anyway, so I understand pain, and I understand pain. I understand people wanting to take medicine for pain, right? But for me, all these medications do nothing for pain. They do nothing to kill the pain. When I do take it, it's almost like my body is exhausted from fighting the pain. So I'll take a pill or something to sort of give in to the pain, and here, take some medication. Maybe you'll sleep tonight. And like I said, I hardly ever take medication anymore. I haven't taken a pill maybe over a month, maybe 2 months. And it'll be a pill at a time for maybe a day, and then it's gone for the next month. But that's when it becomes unbearable. I mean, it's always unbearable. Let me tell you, on a pain scale from 1 to 10, I live at a 9. So when the pain is unbearable, it's off the charts. It's past 10. So I've learned how to live with pain. But like I said, once that medication is in you, that's why I stopped taking it, because I hate that mind-altering feeling. And I know some people love it. I guess that's a high for some people. Not cool for me. So I've never understood that addiction where you want to be somewhere else. You don't want to be present. I prefer to be present in my pain than somewhere else in my pain. Because like I said, it doesn't take away your pain. Your mind is just somewhere else. So I'm sad about this. I wish there was something else. I mean, I've been fighting this pain for a while now, and trying to get the doctors to do something for me. Now we're talking about a spinal stimulator. But it's been a long process to get the right doctors and to get the insurance companies moving, and it's been a long process. And my body has been what's cost me, My body is the one that suffers, the not being able to do anything, the not being able to walk long distances and all of that stuff because of all the pain. But I'm at the mercy of all these insurance companies and doctors. So anyway, all right. So that was my little story on this article, which is sad that opioid deaths, related deaths, are growing. It's growing in Connecticut, but it's not just growing in Connecticut. It's growing all over the place. We have to do something about it. And I'm going to take a quick break again. You're listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave, on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
I woke up and gave a
conscious effort to make sure you small minds get the larger message. The paper, the house you dressing. If you ain't got bars to back it up, it's not impressive. Who run it? Who run it? Who run it? Who run it? If you did it, then I done it. Anybody get it? Don't nobody want it. Ain't no second coming. Ask them who run it? Who run it? Who run it? Who run it? Who? Who run it? Who run it? Who run it? Yeah. Who? I'm stronger than I've ever been. Never win. You are in the presence of your president. Out here lifting heavy. Out here lifting heavy. 2 pounds of shake left from 30 pounds of great. Yep. 2 stacks call my jack and I ain't even wake yet. Woke up, double back. Asked them if they needed what they needed. I was asleep when they called. Then I could come with that. Told me to, I'm dug in that. Matter of fact, come to me. I barely bagged the order. He rolled up like a Russian cream. Who run it? Who run it? Who run it? If you did it, then I done it. Anybody get it? Don't nobody want it. Ain't no second coming. Ask them who run it. Mind over matter. Remote control.
All right. You're listening up. Breaking news. Absolutely breaking the news with Harry, a.k.a. The Brave. Had to jump in there because I want to at least get to these Connecticut stories. I don't think I'm going to get to politics today, but that's okay. All right, let's jump into the next article. Governor Ned Lamont, this is the Hartford Courant. Governor Ned Lamont faces reality of leading as disputes over tolls, state spending, and taxing the wealthy dominate legislative session. Right? The optimism of a reboot by Governor Ned Lamont is waning for the new Democratic governor in the midst of a divisive dispute over electronic tolls, a row over who can decide how much the state borrows, his resistance to raising taxes on millionaires, and his cabinet picks. That kind of sucks, right? And, the Democrats, it's interesting how the Democrats jumped in to support Ned Lamont, right? And this is the scary thing about politics. And here goes, I'm going to get into politics a little bit here. But here's the scary thing about politics. Where people are more loyal to their party than to society, than to our society and what certain people will do for us, right? Or to us. So Ned Lamont, I got the feeling from most of the people I spoke to, they didn't like Ned Lamont. They didn't like him. They didn't think he would govern well. Yet, everybody, all these Democrats ran out, and I'm talking about Democrats. Most of the Democrats did not like a lot of the Democrats I spoke to daily throughout the election. People coming in and out, they didn't like Ned Lamont. These are Democrats who didn't think he would be a good governor. Yet they went and they voted for him just because they wanted their party to win. They put Ned in there just because they wanted the Democrats to win. But, it's a sad thing. Let me move to another article real quick. My time is waning. Let's see. Okay, I'll finish with this. I won't get to any national politics today, but this is from WTNH. Mother's Day weekend. Waterbury mom and daughter graduating from college together. Waterbury, Connecticut, Diane Nessie calls it a special gift this Mother's Day weekend. One of the greatest gifts you can get on Mother's Day is to see your child finish their degree and graduate, said Diane Nessie. It's very fulfilling. And congratulations to both of them, right? Because hold on. So both of these ladies graduated together. I'm really proud of her and I love her, she said. Mom Diane, who's a nurse, is getting Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing. Daughter Catherine is getting her Master's of Administration degree with a focus on healthcare. I would just want to say congratulations to both of these ladies. You know, I remember when my wife and I graduated from Gateway Community College together. We were the first couple to graduate together, right? I forgot what year that was. It was 1994, something like that. 95. Anyway, but you know, it brings back memories, and I'm proud of them. This, I guess, the family that studies together stays together. I don't know, prays together. Anyway, thank you for listening. You've been listening to Breaking News, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH-LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio. It's always fun. All right. See ya.
So you're a philosopher?
Yes. 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 I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply. I think very deeply.
In about 4 seconds, a teacher will begin to speak.
I think very deeply.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!